Today will be negative, but only regarding grammar. You will learn sentences such as nikdy neříkej nikdy, never say never. Dobrý den, thank you for finding the time to watch my video during holidays. This video is out on December 25th. My name is Zuzka and today we're going to learn Czech negative sentences such as Nikdy jsem tam s nikým nebyl. As you might know, Czech language can have more than one negation. But don't worry, we will start with some simple sentences. Jdeme na to. Ahoj, vítejte na mém kanále Czech by Zuzka, kde vám pomocí angličtiny vysvětluju českou gramatiku. Let's take a look at this first sentence. Nebyla jsem tam. Nebyla jsem tam, meaning I wasn't there or I haven't been there. Nebyla, this is where the negation is with the verb. Nebyla jsem tam. The second sentence is a little bit similar, but there is more information. Nikdy jsem tam nebyla. Nikdy, never. I've never been there. So the negation here is nikdy and nebyla. Now let's see this one. Nikdy jsem tam s nikým nebyla. Nikdy and s nikým, never with no one. I have never been there with anyone. Nebyla. And this one, nikdy jsem nikde s nikým nebyla. Very dramatic. Nikdy jsem nikde s nikým nebyla. Never, nowhere, with no one. I wasn't. Well, that translates to I have never been anywhere with anyone. Having multiple negations in English is not correct, but it's not unusual in other languages. What is different about Czech is that when you have some parts of the sentence that are negations, such as pronouns or adverbs, nikdy, nikde, s nikým, the verb also has to be in the negative form. Otherwise, it doesn't sound right. So take a look. We have nebyla jsem tam. The verb is negative. Nebyla, nebyla, nebyla. So we have to negate the verb. That is a must. If we add some other components that are in negative forms, that's up to us. But what we have to keep in mind is that the verb will be also in the negative form. When students want to translate from their own language, it sometimes misleads them, especially in English. When you say, I have never been there with anyone, the verb is affirmative because of the word never. But in Czech, even if we use nikdy or nikde, we still have to put the verb in the negative form as well. Take a look at these sentences. These two sentences are wrong. Just so you know, before we start reading them, Nikoho jsem viděl is wrong. For example, if we want to say, I haven't seen anyone, we cannot say these sentences. The word order is correct, everything else is correct, but there is something missing about the verb that I just told you. Nikoho jsem viděl, or viděl jsem nikoho, they are wrong. If we want to say, I haven't seen anyone, and we want it to sound correct, it's an easy fix. What we do is nikoho jsem neviděl, nikoho jsem neviděl, or here neviděl jsem nikoho, neviděl jsem nikoho. Remember, the verb has to be in the negative form as well. These two sentences are correct. Nikdo mě neviděl, no one saw me. Nikdo mě neviděl. The verb is in the negative form and we have this negative pronoun nikdo. Literally saying no one didn't see me, which is wrong in English. Or nic jsem neviděl, I didn't see anything. Nic jsem neviděl, I didn't see nothing. Also wrong in English, but in Czech we do have to put the verb in the negative form. Remember that. That's the base. And then we can have as many negative pronouns and adverbs as we'd like. I would like to show you the negative pronouns that we have in Czech. Nikdo, nic, nijaký, ničí, žádný. Nikdo, that's nobody or no one. Nic is nothing. Nijaký is in any way. Ničí, no one's. Žádný, something like none or no also. All of these are classified as pronouns in Czech. After some of these, there would be typically a noun. Žádný is typically followed by a noun. Let me give you an example for each of these words. Nikdo nevolal. Nobody called, or nobody has called. Nikdo nevolal. Nic. Štěpán nic neviděl. Štěpán didn't see anything. Štěpán nic neviděl. Notice the verb is also in the negative form. Nijaký is not that common. Ten film mě nijakým způsobem nezaujal. The movie didn't impress me in any way, or it didn't get my attention in any way. It's in a different case. Nijakým způsobem. Ten film mě nijakým způsobem nezaujal. One important thing about nijaký can also work as something like dull or meh. Like if when you say something was meh, it was not interesting. And in that case, you can use it with a verb in the affirmative form. But that's a little bit different case, a slightly different meaning. Let me give you an example that's connected to this sentence that I just said about the movie. Děj měl takový nijaký. The plot was kind of meh. It was dull. Děj měl takový nijaký. So when something is nijaký, it means is meh, is dull. And in that case, the verb will be in the affirmative form. Ničí means no one's. Tohle pití asi ničí není, můžeš si ho vzít. This drink is probably no one's, you can take it. Tohle pití asi ničí není. A little side note, ničí could also refer to a verb, ničit. Ničit is to damage. So if you see ničí somewhere in the sentence, it could also mean it destroys. Žádný, nepotřebuju žádnou pomoc. I don't need any help. Remember I told you this one is typically followed by a noun. Nepotřebuju žádnou pomoc. I don't need any help. I also want to introduce negative adverbs because those are also really important to know. Nikdy, nikde, nikam, nijak. This is also really good for practicing the n sound, ni. Also the adjectives started with ni, except for žádný. Nikdy means never. Nikde means nowhere. Nikam, to nowhere. And nijak also means in no way. Nikdy, nikde, nikam, nijak. Let's see some examples. Nikdy, like we heard already, nikdy neříkej nikdy, never say never. Nikdy neříkej nikdy. The verb is in the negative form, don't forget. Nikde, nikde nikdo nebyl. There was nobody anywhere. Nikde nikdo nebyl. Nikam means to nowhere, literally. It talks about the movement. This one is about the location. Nikde. So we have nikde versus nikam. Just like kde versus kam. Teď nikam nechoď. Don't go anywhere now. Teď nikam nechoď. Nijak is very similar to nijaký způsob. Just like I showed you earlier, ten film mě nijak nezaujal. We could also say it like this. The movie didn't impress me in any way. Ten film mě nijak nezaujal. Or we could say nijakým způsobem. I want to check if you've been listening. There are 3 sentences here and there is a mistake in one of them. So take a look. Už nic nepotřebuju. Nikdy jsem od nikoho nic nechtěl. Nikdy jsem od nikoho chtěl žádnou pomoc. I probably gave you a hint because I actually stopped here involuntarily because my brain said, oh, there is a mistake. Then I realized it was on purpose. The mistake is here because the verb is an affirmative form and it's wrong. We have to put nechtěl. Nikdy jsem od nikoho nechtěl žádnou pomoc. Let's go through them quickly. Už nic nepotřebuju. I don't need anything anymore. Už is affirmative, by the way, but when it combines with a negative, it means not anymore. Nikdy jsem od nikoho nic nechtěl. I've never wanted anything from anyone. Nikdy jsem od nikoho nic nechtěl. Nikdy jsem od nikoho nechtěl žádnou pomoc. I have never wanted any help from anyone. Nepotřebuju, nechtěl. Remember, the verb has to be in the negative form. Okay, now it's time for an exercise. We are going to translate 4 sentences together. Not translate entirely. There are some words that are already completed. So each line means one word and the verb will be there in the infinitive form so that you know which verb I want you to use. Don't forget the negation. This sentence wants to say, quiet, I can't hear anything. Pause the video so you can work on it. And now let's translate it. Ticho. So we need to translate anything. That means nic. Nic. And we want to say, I don't hear, I can't hear. So we will say, neslyším, neslyším, nic neslyším. Nic neslyším. Negative and negative. Nic neslyším. We could also say neslyším nic, it's fine. There were no keys in the car. V autě, and you have the verb být. That's what you are going to work with. So you need to complete 3 words, one of which is the verb to be. Pause the video. And we are translating it right now. V autě. Žádné, žádné. And then the keys are klíče. Žádné klíče. Žádné klíče. And then you want to say they weren't. They weren't, which is nebyly. Nebyly. V autě. In the car. Žádné, no. Klíče, keys, nebyly, were not. In the car, no keys, weren't. Číslo 3. You won't find this food anywhere else. So we have to complete 2 words and the verb to find, najít. Pause the video while you work on this and we're translating it right now. Tohle jídlo, jídlo, that's food. And we will say nowhere, which is nikde. Nikde jinde. Nikde jinde, nowhere else. That's a really nice phrase. Nikde jinde, nowhere else. And what about the verb? Well, we could say nenajdeš or nenajdete. Depends if you are talking to someone and you want to treat them formally or informally. But even if you mean you as in generally, you can also pick whether you want to be more informal, nenajdeš, more casual, or nenajdete, addressing your listeners in a formal way. Tohle jídlo nikde jinde nenajdeš. Tohle jídlo nikde jinde nenajdete. A číslo 4. Very difficult. I've never lied to anyone. There's nothing for you to hold on to, but I'm sure you will manage. Lhát is to lie. And it's actually pretty regular in the past tense, except I'm gonna give you a hint. You're gonna get rid of this accent, as it often happens in the past tense with these verbs. Tak, jdeme na to. The best way is to start with nikdy. Nikdy. So that's done. Now we have to say to anyone. But we are also translating the past tense, and we will need 2 items. 2 items. One of these will be the auxiliary verb. Guess what? First, we have to use the auxiliary verb. So that will be here. Nikdy jsem, because it wants to be on the second position. Nikdy jsem. Now we have to say to anyone. To anyone, that's dative. Nikomu. 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 And the verb nelhal. Nelhal. Lhal? Nelhal. Nikdy jsem nikomu nelhal. If you own Just in Case, check the study tables towards the end. This is an older version. I cannot remember now if it's on the same page. This is page 36. You also have the pronouns kdo, někdo, nikdo. For example, here you can see the different forms. Nikdo, nikoho, nikomu. Here it is, nikomu, to no one. Nikoho, nikom, nikým. Those are the different forms of nikdo. And you also have nic, for example. Nic in different cases as well. Okay, this is all from me. I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions or if you have any interesting sentences with lots and lots of negations. Write them in the comments. Thank you so much for being with me this year. It has been great and I'm looking forward to the next year because the next video will be in 2026. Mějte se moc krásně a uvidíme se příští rok. See you next year. Ahoj a děkuji moc.